Sunday spare changers. So, people always tell you, bloom where you're planted. And I don't think that's bad advice. I think it's a reminder to just make the most of every opportunity. However, where we get it wrong is the fact that we are not plants. We are humans. We have free will in where we plant ourselves and where we hang our hats at night. So I experienced something this past summer where I was involved in replanting something. My son had brought home what allegedly we thought was a bean plant. And that bean plant grew and grew and grew until the stems were getting limp because the fruit was so big. And so along with some basil I had that was crowding its pot, I repotted the basil and this alleged bean sprout plant. And come to find out, this bean sprout plant is actually a tomato plant. And after we repotted it, it grew and grew and grew, and we can't wait for the tomatoes. So I think that's a great metaphor, is sometimes the plant that is within us, whatever is growing within us, we think it's made to bear this kind of fruit, but actually it's meant to bear a whole different kind of fruit, to benefit something that we're not even aware of, to take a form that we can't even imagine. And also, sometimes we mistake being planted as completely ordained by God. And really, sometimes those things have an expiration date. So I am just right now in transition from one job to the next. I had been in one job for 5 years. I really loved the people that I worked with. I loved my students, but I didn't love what I was teaching. And I felt that God had brought me into this job. So I felt this extreme sense of disobedience about leaving that job, that I was in rebellion to God's will. And after a while, I realized that I was not bearing the good fruit. My students weren't benefiting from me being all stressed out by teaching these particular topics. So I made a move, and I think it was a good one and a wise one, and it feels right. But I was so hesitant because I didn't think perhaps that I was worthy of a different pot. And that's dumb. We would never put a plant in soil that was not nourishing it. So why do we suffer? And I'm not saying that I was greatly suffering in this job, but why do we continue to go through motions in our life that's not bearing good fruit? And I think that God cares a lot about contentment and cultivating hearts of contentment. 1 Timothy reminds us. But contentment doesn't have to equal complacency. So I encourage you to think long and strong about the ways that you are growing and the places that you are planting yourselves. Do you have a strong root system? Are you being nourished? Are you bearing good fruit? And if you can't say yes to any of those questions, or to one of those questions even, really seek after God, because He promises us when we seek Him with our whole heart, we will find Him.